Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. What does food mean to you? Tell me in a recorded soundbite of no longer than 60 seconds or a post of no longer than 50 words. Post it on social media, hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show. If your soundbite or quotes are selected to be part of an upcoming segment, I'll send along an autographed copy of my book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, to you as a special thanks. So, what does food mean to you? For many, it's more than just a way to kickstart their morning routine or a savory meal after a long, hard-working day. Food brings out emotions in us like nothing else. It makes use of all of the five senses. The taste, smell, and texture of food triggers memories of the past, of our childhood, and releases positive emotions of euphoria and nostalgia. For centuries, it has brought people together in ways we could only imagine. The Sunday family dinner. It's a perfect example of people uniting in the name of a good meal. Stop and think of all the great memories you have from food bringing people together. I think of friends and family coming together under one roof to savor iconic Italian dishes. The kids are playing outside on a warm summer afternoon, enjoying the fresh air, while family and friends chat on the deck from afar, all while aromas of fresh food can be smelled from an open window. The sun is bright, birds chirp, and trees sway with a warm summer breeze in a state of pure being. Inside, family members prepare the meal together like a well-rehearsed opera. In this kitchen, family traditions spanning generations are passed down. Wine and laughs occupy the table as loved ones reconnect. Uncles, aunts, nonnas, siblings, and cousins communicating over antipasto, their plates full of olives and cheeses and their hearts full of happiness. When the primo, or first course, is ready, kids scurry from the yard into the kitchen. One of them leads the family in grace. There's a feeling of anticipation for the meal in front of them and the feeling that all is right in the world. Little do they realize that one day these simple moments will be the memories of a lifetime. With these unprecedented times we find ourselves in, cooking can seem like another chore or task on the to-do list. We often take the joys of cooking for granted and think of it as just a daily chore, but that's not so, because cooking can be very therapeutic. In fact, it even has its own term, culinary art therapy. Culinary art therapy, also known as CAT, was a term coined by Carl Rogers, a famous psychologist of the 20th century, and his wife Natalie Rogers. They dedicated their life's work to a counseling theory they created called person-centered therapy, where the objective of the session was focused on the good in the patient, not what was wrong, and helping them become their best possible self. Then this evolved into expressive arts therapy, like gardening or journaling. The culinary arts are just another way people can leave their troubles at the door and fully express themselves through art. In short, cooking can act as a much-needed release. The benefits of CAT include stress relief, improved social skills, overall health, memory, attention, and focus, and it also boosts self-esteem. After cooking a meal for the whole family, one feels a sense of accomplishment. Executive chef Cardi Mortimer has turned this into a lifestyle that has also helped the less fortunate all over Tennessee.
Chef Cardi's secret ingredient is that he cooks with heart. Besides being a talented chef, Cardi puts his heart and soul into all of his recipes. And I think that really sums everything up. But Cardi, welcome.
Thank you, Maria.
And can just tell everyone how we met, because we're good friends, but tell everyone how we met.
Well, I met this wonderful celebrity chef named Maria Liberati a very long time ago in New York City. I had heard about her. I knew of her fantastic reputation cooking Italian food and doing tours with people and all of those things. I wasn't sure the day that we were at Cipriani's in New York City that I was meeting her, but I chose probably the most beautiful woman in the room. And I was right. It was Maria Liberati. And my toes curled, and I was like, oh, my God, I am really impressed. By the way, I'm a chef, too. And I've cooked down at the Food Channel, at the Food Network, just down there in Chelsea. And it's just such a pleasure to meet you. And then I met Maria down in Atlantic City at the New Jersey, I don't want to say National Food Show. Was it, Maria? I think it was.
Yes, I think it's called Taste of Atlantic City, or I forget what the name of that event is that I was at. Yes, I heard at. Yes,
And shall we say the rest is history? And
yes.
Of course, I did, just finished my cookbook. It'll be out in mid-June, and Maria has the first exclusive interview with me about my cookbook, and I couldn't be more proud.
Oh, and me as well. I'm really excited. So I guess I was going to start because I know you're a talented chef, and I know lots of people have seen you, and you worked all over the country. You've been on TV as well, and radio, yes, and everywhere. So for my listeners, can you tell them, just a little bit of like your path to becoming a chef, what drew you to the profession?
Absolutely. My path to becoming a chef really started at a very early age. I was 17 years old when I worked at Buxton's, an ice cream factory in Chatham, New Jersey that also served hamburgers. And I was a dishwasher. And I didn't like being a dishwasher because it screwed up my hands a lot with the water. And I asked the manager if I could be a short order cook. And he said, sure. Do you know anything about cooking? And I said, not a thing. And he said, good, we're going to teach you from the ground up. Sure enough, many years later, beginning in 1976, my mother, Elizabeth Smith Mortimer, who is looking down at me from heaven and who the book is dedicated to, sent me to cooking school in New Orleans, Louisiana. I went to the prestigious New Orleans French Culinary Institute, and it was a 6-week course for 3 different summers. And 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that made up for trying to take off any time. And while I was down there, I also befriended a wonderful human being who was the head chef at Commander's Palace, and his name was Emeril Lagasse. Chef Emeril and I became friends. He came to my culinary school as a guest teacher. I'll never forget it. And lo and behold, I went on to have a career working in restaurants in the Deep South. I also worked in Las Vegas, Nevada for Emeril's restaurants, Delmonico's and the Fish House, one being at the Venetian Hotel and one being at the MGM Grand. And then I also came back to New Jersey, and I opened up my own catering company called Cardi Cooks. And I had that for about 7 or 8 years, and we cooked in people's homes. In fact, the theme of Cardi Cooks, the tagline was, be a guest at your own party. And I retired completely from both corporate work and, full-time cooking in restaurants when I was 55 years old, which was in 2010. And I started working on the cookbook in about 2014, 2015. And it was kind of on again, off again, on again, off again. And in the last 2 years, I really concentrated. I hired 2 wonderful editors, professional editors, and they were able to help me get this cookbook done. And we'll talk about the rest of the wonderful things that are happening as you ask the questions, Maria.
Yes,
but that's basically how my career started.
Yes, and I was going to say, in those cookbooks, they do take a lot of time, don't they?
They do.
Writing, right? I know everybody will always ask me, oh, how long did it take you to do one of, because I have like 10. How long did it take you to do them? And what, people don't realize they can take a few years at a time, 5 years, 6
Absolutely.
years, 10 years. There's a lot to putting them together that you don't really realize until you start. So I definitely understand. So tell us, and this is a really special book, also because then it's dedicated to your mom, which is great.
It is dedicated to my
It's
my
so
late
nice.
parents.
Your mom, yes. And so tell us, how did your partnership with the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless come about? And what about the inspiration? Well, I know your mom probably inspired you too for Keep On Cooking, but what's your inspiration? What was your inspiration for Keep On Cooking?
Absolutely. I can not only answer that question, but I want to remind your listeners Maybe this is a first. I don't ever remember a cookbook doing this, but I want people to realize when you buy a copy of this book, this cookbook, not a single penny is going into my pocket. As a matter of fact, I even picked up all the expenses to produce the cookbook. And I have decided about a year and a half ago, that I would I would gift the book to a wonderful organization called the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless. Last year, I cooked a dinner down there in Knoxville, Tennessee, for about 100 people, and maybe a little bit less, about 80 people. And I believe they netted about $3,000 to go towards making sure that homeless veterans within eastern Tennessee had a home, had a place to go, for shelter, be placed in a home. So it was an easy decision because I have a wonderful relationship with the two heads of the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless. One is Melanie Cordell, who's the CEO, and the other is my agent, my other best friend. She's the head of development down there, and her name is Mikhail Armeo. So you'll probably hear those two names a lot in this interview because they make my world go around. They came up with a marketing plan that will help not only homeless in Tennessee, but homeless all over the country. So we're hoping to raise, quite frankly, millions of dollars if we can, if this catches on and goes viral, because as I said, all the proceeds of the book are going to help the homeless around the country. And right now, especially with this coronavirus thing and this terrible thing that our country has had to go through, I think this cookbook, Maria, is going to represent good news in the world. And I think that it's going to make a difference in the lives of people who are much less fortunate than ourselves.
Yes, and that's what everybody needs is some good news. And that's what I loved about the cookbook and why I was so excited about having you on, because, we all need some good news now. And it's just such a wonderful thing that you're doing. And I love it that every cent, goes to help people, so people know when they buy the book, not only are they getting some really great recipes. And I just want to mention too that I've gone through, there are some great recipes there. I love that you studied in Louisiana and New Orleans, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I love their style of cooking, but there's some really great recipes in the book. So not only are people going to get a bunch of great recipes, but they know that the money that they put towards purchasing those great recipes also goes to work to help others that are less fortunate. So okay. I have to tell you, so you have this wonderful potato salad recipe there that I've already selected to do that for my Memorial Day picnic.
All right.
I think it's the Irish potato salad, right? Oh,
yes.
It looks great. That, and you have a shrimp deviled eggs, I think.
Very
I'm
good,
be
Maria.
Doing them for my Memorial Day. In fact, after I'm done with everything today, I'm heading out to the store to go shopping for ingredients. But I was able to read through, and there's some really great recipes in there. Those are two that are perfect for what I'm doing. So just wanted to tell everybody. One of the things too I wanted to bring out is I know you have on the Keep Cooking website, which is keepcooking.com, right?
Yes. Keeponcooking.com.
Cooking.com, yes. And it's without a G at the end, just so people know. So it's keeponcooking.com. But you had mentioned to me, and I saw it on your website, that you do culinary therapy. Is that correct? Or programs on that?
Yes, I did for 8 years. I was severely handicapped back in about 2012, 2013, and I had to stop cooking. I had very severe back surgeries. To make a very long story short, I ended up, believe it or not, in a care center, care center, also known as a nursing home.
Yeah.
And I spent months and months at a time after each operation in a nursing home learning how to walk again. At one time, as a matter of fact, after I cooked a New Orleans dinner for my local church here in town, I went paralytic from the waist down. Oh. Everything just stopped working from the waist down. And the doctors weren't sure if I would ever walk again. It's still very emotional. And from there, Maria, believe it or not, one day, as I was getting a little bit better and I could take baby steps and I was eager to get back to my cooking, I asked the medical staff if I could cook for them. And they said, Why? And I said, I'd like that to be my therapy for the day. I'd like to cook you a New Orleans lunch in the WellCare Center. And they said, sure. So I cooked a beautiful lunch for about, oh goodness, it was about 25 or 30 people. And oh my goodness, did they love my jambalaya, and which is also in the cookbook, by the way.
Yes,
And they
yes.
loved Bananas Foster bread pudding.
Oh my gosh.
I went back to my room in a wheelchair, and I was really tired. And the president of the WellCare Center said, sat on the edge of my bed. It was a woman, a very beautiful woman. And she said, I can't believe that you did that for us. And I said, it's not a problem. It was great. It was therapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, would you come back after you're better someday and entertain the folks in this nursing home? And I said, what do you mean entertain? She said, do a show, do a cooking show, and tell some of your great stories about your cooking days. And I said, I could do that. Mm-hmm. And that became the birth of Culinary Therapy. I took the show and I did as promised, I came back and I cooked for the residents. And I did, over a period of 8 years, 154 different shows in WellCare centers, hospitals, colleges, and universities.
Wow.
And the nature of the show, the theme of the show was, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can recover from terrible surgeries,
oh my gosh,
for those who need some entertainment, those that are stuck up in a hospital, those that are stuck up in a nursing home that don't have any entertainment. Believe me, I know how lonely you can get.
yes.
And I did that. And I'm so proud to tell you that really became, I got nationally known for that. I was on several national shows, television shows, to kind of strut my stuff, and the host couldn't get over it. I was actually called 1 in a million chef. That was great on national television. And I said, that's kind of cool. So for 8 years, I toured with Culinary Therapy, as well as, of course, cooked for both restaurants and for my catering company, Cardi Cooks.
Wow, that is a wonderful story. I didn't know all of that in detail. That's so wonderful. And I didn't realize you did this, because I've always thought as cooking as really as therapy also. And,
yes.
It's actually becoming a big thing now. They're actually using culinary therapy for people that are really like depressed or people that have anxiety. Someone like you knows it's really it can be very, very therapeutic. So that's wonderful. And that's wonderful that you did so many shows, but more wonderful is, thank goodness, you were able to get yourself up and walking again.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of my career.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
By the way, Marie, I just want to go back very quickly to something that you made me laugh. The CEO of the TVCH, the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless, Melanie Cordell, she has a daughter named Maddie. She actually has two wonderful daughters, Maddie and Katie. But I received a wonderful, wonderful text just weeks ago that she was out in Arizona visiting her sister, and her daughter made the chocolate chip chunk cookie recipe in my cookbook.
Ooh.
And she said that her daughter has never tasted a cookie that good in my life. And I wrote back to her and I said, guess what? I said, it is my recipe. I'll represent it. But it's my wife's recipe, Lynn, my beautiful wife.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I said, she came up with that recipe. Wow. And when I had my catering company, Cardi Cooks, and I turned to her then, I said, honey, those are the best cookies I've ever had in my entire life, because we use peanut butter chocolate chunks, within the cookie. Oh, my goodness.
My gosh. I noticed that you do have some other recipes too that are Lynn's recipes, correct?
Actually, they're recipes that I dedicated to my wife. Lynn.
You dedicated to Lynn.
I dedicated to her.
Okay.
Yes.
I figured they were inspired by her or something. Yes.
That's right. She always makes me make them during the holidays, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And it's really funny because my oldest son still lives with me, and he begs for me to do my chicken recipes, some seafood recipes. So I still cook in the home.
Yes.
But
Yes.
takeout's a wonderful call too.
Oh, yes. But I know there's nothing like home cooking and those chocolate cookies. Wow. I guess now I know what my dessert's going to be for my Memorial Day event. They
Yeah.
sound like that sounds really good. So I'm definitely going to have to try those also. Yes, that culinary therapy story, that's wonderful. And it's definitely, I mean, food is therapy. One of the things I was going to ask you was, what would you say the most important aspect of cooking is, and how does that connect to your book's tagline?
The most important aspect of cooking, Maria, is, for me, is cooking with one's heart. Always keep it special. I tell young people even today that my actual definition of gourmet coincides with the word love. And the word love is throughout my cookbook. Keep on Cooking refers to never giving up your hopes and your dreams, no matter how low or high the mountain might be. I realized all of my dreams through cooking by giving back to others, and I don't know if it'll get me into heaven any quicker than the next person, but I know that I'm trying to do good. I'm in a position, lucky enough, that I can do this, that I don't have to make money on this cookbook, not a cent. And it cost me not six figures, it cost me 5 figures to get it done. And I am so proud of myself that I accomplished this, because the book is not only about the recipes, but Maria, you have a copy of my cookbook.
Yes.
And that is, tell the people every recipe comes with a different story.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. That's also the special thing about the book is not only do you get the recipes, but you get to read this little story with the recipe that it has a special meaning to. And I
Yes.
always thought that was really important too when I did my book series, because food is, as we're talking about it so much, food is your heart and soul, and food is
Yep.
therapy. There's so many things that food is. So it's not just a recipe or ingredients. So
Yes.
those stories definitely bring the recipes more meaning. And yes, that was the other special part of the book too. I forgot to bring out. Thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the things, if the listeners out there buy the cookbook for anything, the foreword of the book that's written by Melanie Cordell. Melanie is the CEO of this company that has been in existence, I believe it's 11 years now. Maybe it's 10, but it's in there. And they handle 12 counties in Tennessee, which encompasses over 10 million people. So they're really, really, involved in handling a lot of the homeless problem. Well, guess what? Melanie Cordell, when she was a young lady, was homeless herself. And she writes a foreword in the book that I dare anybody to read that without tears coming down your face.
Yes.
It is one of the most emotional things that I've ever read. And she puts in the book that she said, I was hoping someday to meet a true angel in my life, and along comes Chef Cardi Waterburn. And it just means the world to me, because Mikhail Armeo and Melanie, both who have had tough lives when they were younger, have come to the top. They have risen to the top, and they alone are so inspirational to this cookbook that I can't tell you. Please pick up a copy of the cookbook. It's easy. You go on keeponcooking.com. You can order, and you'll even get a return little letter from us. I believe that what they're working on, like a reply email that thanks you for purchasing the cookbook. And just enjoy it, like Maria said, because not only is it filled with good recipes, decent recipes, 121 of them in total, by the way. It's a 280-page book, and it's hardcover book too. It's not one of those little flimsy, things that you see in the PTAs of high schools, where all the mothers get together and do a cookbook. This is a hardcover cookbook, and I think that you're going to really enjoy it. The initial reviews that we're getting is, off the charts. And I worked so hard with my editors, my wife, the people in Tennessee, the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless. That means so much to me. I just don't see this cookbook not being successful. And again, I did not do this cookbook, Maria, to become a celebrity like yourself. I don't even know if I want to become a celebrity, but I will do appearances. Maybe I'll even do, tie in culinary therapy with this.
Yes.
And to try to be inspirational to others, because we're in a state, as I said before, that we need a lot more inspiration right now. We need a lot more good news. And I hope I can provide some of that to your listeners.
You are definitely with all these stories. In fact, more than I even was aware of. So, it's even a surprise. I got more of a surprise today. This is wonderful. I wanted to provide some good news, and we have such lots of uplifting stories on this segment. I always ask my guests at the end of each interview, what does food mean to you? So can you tell us, if you had to answer that, what does food mean to you?
I'm going to be a little repetitious here for a minute, but I wrote down a couple of little lines that I have that in my study notes.
Yes.
Thank you to Mikhail out there, Mikhail Armeo, who said, make sure that you study your notes before, And, the word food has 4 letters, but so does the word love. I mentioned it before, but when I cook for anyone, it is a way for me to say, as a chef, I love you and I love cooking for you. So my cookbook is so much more than just a collection of 121 delicious recipes. It's about love, it's about giving back, and it's about caring for human beings that are much less fortunate than us. When we get to holidays like Christmas, and when we get to holidays like Thanksgiving, it breaks my heart to see those food lines and those people that don't get a chance to have a meal, that are sitting outside under a bridge. I wanted to just talk about, if I could just for a second, Maria, about something people will see on the website. I'll try to make it very quick, but this ties right into your question.
Yes.
Last year, during the Tennessee Valley Coalition dinner, I started a fund called Charlie's Fund. It's kind of funny because Charlie is the name of my oldest son. This fund that I started for the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless has nothing to do with Charlie, my son. It had to do with a homeless person that I met in New York in the mid-1990s, around the time that I met you, Maria. So we go way back.
Yes.
And Charlie was homeless, and he usually sat on 64th Street with his back up against the wall with a blanket and other things. I would give him every week at least $20, and he appreciated it. I never got to know him that well. I didn't know his last name, but we were friends. He became kind of, an icon to me. He became a symbol to me that I was doing something good for the homeless. Well, I got out of the subway one day, and I saw a big commotion about 64th Street. I was working on 66th Street at the time for a corporation. And I walked over, and there was a white blanket on the ground. And I said, is that Charlie? And the one police officer looked at me, and he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, was that a homeless man? He said, yes. I said, what happened to him? And the police officer said, he froze to death.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
To make a long story short, I had a conniption. And I made a speech in front of about 25 cops and detectives. And I said, gentlemen, we could put a man on the moon. We could do all of these wonderful things with technology. And we let a person in our city die of freezing to death. What has this country come to?
Oh, my God.
So believe it or not, about a week or two later, I bought $400 worth of hats, mittens, gloves, scarves, you name it, from a local pharmacy in the Port Authority bus terminal. And I managed to give all of those things in boxes. Don't ask me how I did it because I don't remember. And I said, I want to be anonymous. I told the police, I want to be anonymous. I didn't even give them my name. I said, I don't want publicity, but I want these to go in your cop cars. And when they see a homeless person freezing or having trouble with the elements, please give that to them. Please hand out mittens, scarves, blankets, whatever you can do. And Charlie's Fund was founded. However, I'm sad to tell you that after that year, I didn't do anything helping the homeless. And I was ashamed of myself. I just forgot. I just didn't, it wasn't a priority. So when I got my relationship with the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless last year, I gave them a check for $400 to start Charlie's Fund.
Oh, that's really nice.
On the website. They are getting contributions, and I hope they're going to get a lot of contributions, because what they're doing with that is the hats, the gloves, you name it, but they're also getting warming centers, places for the homeless to go so that they don't freeze to death or they don't roast to death in the heat. And I couldn't be more proud and supportive, because hopefully a lot of the funds from my cookbook will go to Charlie's Fund. And their little logo, Maria, for Charlie's Fund has a little chef's hat. And in the middle of the chef's hat's a little picture of a home with a heart on it.
Oh, that's great. That is great. So I guess I was right spot on when I called him the chef with heart. So Cardi Mortimer, the chef with heart, thank you so much for being with us. So just tell me, they're all wonderful stories. I'm so glad I had you on today. So tell us again, you're welcome. So tell us again, it's keeponcooking.com, correct?
Right. Keep on Cooking without a G. Keep on Cooking, COOKIN.com. And his name is Greg. He worked for they hired a professional firm to design this website. It is absolutely gorgeous. And it's got pictures of me in action. It's got pictures from last year's dinner. It's got the stories about Charlie's Fund. It's got places where you can donate. And, of course, right on the front cover, it says, purchase your cookbook here. They are offering the first roughly 470 cookbooks that are going to be on sale. And, by the way, the cookbook is only $35. That's really cheap for a hardcover book.
It is. It's for
not bad at all.
No, it's not. It's a really beautiful hardcover book. People can add it to their library. You know, I love having a little library of books, like either in my kitchen or my living room, of like some really beautiful books. And this definitely fits into that. $35 is not much at all for all those recipes that they can just keep using and using. They can read the stories too. So it's a nice read also.
Yes.
And also Tennessee Valley Coalition. So if anyone wants to find out about the Homeless Coalition, Tennessee Valley Homeless Coalition, they can go on your website too, I'm assuming, correct?
Exactly, Maria. They tied everything all together. Tennessee Valley, the cookbook, everything is all tied together on one website.
On your website. Oh, that's wonderful. And tell us, so people can begin purchasing books when they go to your website now, or is the book ready for sale?
I believe that is, as of today, Friday.
Show will be released. I'm talking to you and it's May 22nd, but really we're releasing this show on the 27th. So I think on the 27th, people should probably be able to buy the book.
Absolutely, right? 100% by May 27th. If you're listening to this, please go online, pick out a book, or, purchase a book, because you really, really are going to help the homeless. You're going to feel so good about yourself. And you know what? You're going to get a cookbook that entertains you. And Maria, I can't tell you what you mean to me, how much I've always idolized you. You are one of the most incredible Italian chefs in the world. I can't say that about myself. I'm not a Michelin chef, but I'm a good chef, and I was a very good chef.
Yes.
But you are the real deal. And what you're doing for people, and your tours over to Italy, and your videos online, marialiberati.com, absolutely blows me away. And to be on a podcast with you is maybe one of the highest honors that I've ever had.
Thank you. And that's an honor for me to know that someone, with your credentials also thinks so highly of me. It's so nice. Besides being such a good friend and everything, I admire you as well. So it's a mutual admiration society, definitely. Cardi, thank you so much, and thanks so much for this. And everyone go to keeponcooking.com, get a copy of that book. I'm telling you, you're going to find some great recipes in there, especially now that the summer's coming up. Great recipes for those whatever, even just small gatherings that you could do now. Such great recipes for now and all throughout the year. Thanks again, Cardi. I will be talking to you and seeing you soon.
Thanks for joining us and listening to the Maria Liberati Show. If you have any recipes that were inspired by the book Keep on Cooking from our guest executive chef Cardi Mortimer today that you want to show off, take a picture of your favorite dish and hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show. Post on social media. We'll be gathering pictures and posting them on my website in the next few weeks. Thanks to my producer, Britton Rozelle, and this week's guest, executive chef, author Cardi Mortimer. Go to my website, marialiberati.com, to keep up with my blog and the show and my book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking. And don't forget to post your answer to the question, what does food mean to you, in a recorded soundbite of 60 seconds or less, or a social media post of 50 words or less. Hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, post it on social media, or email it to me at marialiberati.com. If your answers are selected for an upcoming podcast segment, you will receive an autographed copy of my book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking. Until next time, peace, love, and pasta.